welcome back. I am Heather, your game master from Sales RPG, and today we are going to talk about a really brief introductory overview to the sales classes you will find in my system. Now, a quick disclaimer before we begin here, these are not at all scientific, right? I have not sat and done peer-reviewed research at any point throughout this process. This is what I've come up with through a lot of years working with different types of clients, different types of people, and seeing the patterns over and over again. Okay? It's not something that you look at and go, oh, I am this type and this is who I am and that is my destiny and I'll be there forevermore. No. This is broadly a framework I use to see where you're most likely to be comfortable, and that can change a little bit over time, but it's where you might fit just now, and it's what might appeal to you in your sales game and in your business game is how that works. So with that said, let's have a quick little look here at the 6 different character types, and keeping in mind that when we do your character sheet, you actually get your base type and a multi-class. So it's even a little more involved than this, but we'll start here and that's where we're gonna go. So first type I'm gonna talk about is what I call the Dream Singer. If you want to equate them to Dungeons and Dragons classes, we can do that too, but they're not a one-for-one match. So your Dream Singer is clearly your bard. These are the people that when confronted with needing to sell, would rather get up and speak to a lot of people passionately from the heart and talk about this big message that they have or this mission they've got, or really disrupt things and get stuff moving. They're the people that want to be leaders, that want to be standing out there in front, doing the work and telling the people about it. Like, these are your big picture thinkers, your problem solvers, this is who you are. If the thing that excites you most when we list out different types of sales is, going on interviews, going on podcasts, public speaking, addressing audiences, that type of deal, where you can make a big impact with a lot of people, that's your Dream Singer. So, and disclosure, anyway, that's your Dream Singer. The next one we have is what I call a Trinket Curator. Now, the one they are closest to in D&D is actually a cleric, but they're not that close because they could also be a monk or just a generic healer or a whole lot of things. They're really hard to quantify in that way. And the reason for that is that a Trinket Curator will look around and they'll go, okay, this, and this feel right to me. They feel like it's the right place, the right heart, the right technique. It feels good, I'm going to do that. Now, these techniques that they choose could be from anywhere. It could be something that you'd typically find people grinding away at. It could be social media. It could be any amount of things. The point is they would cherry pick what feels good, and they're driven by being in alignment, being correct, on the right path for themselves. Then we move along to our breach builders, which in a lot of ways are our druids ish. What they do is they will set up their environment to welcome people in. So what I mean by that is they'll know if things feel wrong. They'll know if some place they are doesn't feel in alignment with them. Like, they're very in tune to that. So when they're trying to sell themselves, they will most likely set up a sort of hub or home base where things feel just right, and then they'll invite people into that. So that could be their website, it's usually their website. It could be somewhere like their Facebook page, it could be their YouTube channel, it could be their newsletter even. But they will set all the variables and all the different colors and the brands and the fonts and the feelings and the messaging and all of it to feel right to a certain type of person. That's how they work. Then we have your Void Spotter, which translates most closely to your rogues in D&D, but again, it's not exact. So let me explain them. The way a Void Spotter works is they look at the entire landscape of their sales field, and they have them. You'll know you do if this is going to start making sense to you. They'll look around at all their potential audiences, all their potential playgrounds, all the places they could promote, and they'll go, there's a hole over there and I'm going to fill it. So wherever that hole happens to be, it could be a gap in the marketplace, it could be people that are being ignored in a larger target group, it could be a product that would make absolute sense because enough people are asking for it over here. And what they do is they spot opportunities and then they act on them. The other thing that Void Spotters do quite commonly is if they already have their thing that they want to sell, is they will seek out the exact right person for that and then contact them directly. So you won't generally see them very much out in the open, but you'll see them doing quite well in the background and with referrals, word of mouth, and direct sales. So that's your Void Spotters. Next up, we have your shift calculators, which I love them dearly. I am not one, okay? So it all seems kind of magical to me, but they correlate most closely with the wizards from D&D in that they pay attention to all the little details and how would I describe them? Okay, so these are your optimizers. These are your people that will build funnels and systems so that they don't really personally have to talk to that many people in order to do their selling, but they'll have it optimized down to a T where they know all their numbers, they know their conversion rate, and they're working on making that work as smoothly and seamlessly as possible. They will take all the information they can find, like they'll soak it up, and then we'll translate that into this is a system that will work and we're going to work that system. That's how they work. They work really smart. They're not really people that are going to go out there and just grind away at things, typically, but they will absolutely build these things that work at scale, and then they'll just focus on different parts because this is handled. And your last group of people is probably the group you think most about when sales comes up in conversation. But these are your chasm jumpers, and they relate closely to fighters in D&D, as close as any of these relate, really. But what they do is they go, okay, this is my target, this is where I'm going to go. And that's about as much thinking as they do. Like, they might strategize and do a little bit of tactics here and there to get going, but their main thing is, okay, you telling me I need to hit this amount of numbers in order to get this amount of sales? Fine, let's do it. And they'll just go and they will systematically hit all their numbers that way. And they will do it through great strength if needed, not necessarily in the way they're speaking or interacting with people, but in that they're relentless and they'll keep going until they get there. And frankly, that's really, really, it's an enviable trait that they just do on their own. For a lot of the rest of us, we run out of steam. They really don't run out of steam. Their ability to do repeating things over and over to get to where they want to be is phenomenal, and I have the greatest respect for them. So those are your main 6 character classes. Now, what we do when I'm putting together a character sheet is I'll talk to you and I'll find out which of these makes the most sense for you at a core level, and that's your base class. That's who you are in these, because again, this is not scientific, but as best we can assess these things, that's who you are at base. And then we'll also look at who it is you're trying to be or grow into a little bit, or the techniques you've found along the way that you've become good at, and that's your second class. And with the 2, that describes your sales profile, and then there's a bit more in-depth in that on the actual character sheet. You get your different abilities and skills and what have you, which forms your roadmap for how you can do sales out in the real world with your actual business and all the good stuff there, and also how you'll play in the game, which is important because with your character sheet being built on these, when we play the game, you are using these skills and abilities and ways of thinking while you play, so it strengthens things, and that becomes really quite useful in that regard. So those are our 6. I'll just quickly run through them again. Dream Singer, Trinket Curator, Breach Builder, Void Spotter, Shift Calculator, and Chasm Jumper. They're all a mouthful. When you know which yours is, that will make an awful lot of sense. You might be able to start picking it out from just these brief descriptions here. If not, don't fret. We will be talking about this an awful lot more in future videos. But until then, if you have not done it already, go ahead and click the link in the description to take your quiz and find your elemental companion. These are, of course, your helpers for your mindset. So very useful. There's more explained about that there. And as always, hit like if you like the video, subscribe if you haven't already and you want to hear more, and I will see you in the next video.